ça passe ou ça casse.
On the right side, along the Seine River, you can see a large building. It was formerly a railway station built for the World Fair exhibition of 1900. The railway station was closed at the beginning of the Second World War. It was nearly demolished in 1970 and finally turned into a museum, open to the public in 1986. So here you can see paintings of the 19th century. It's here that you can see the Impressionist painters. And the building, which is located just in front of you, is a part of the Louvre Museum. Before being a museum, the Louvre was at the origin a fortress built by the King Philip August in 1190. Before his departure to crusade, he built a city wall to protect Paris, and outside the city wall, he built a fortress. 2 centuries later, in the 14th century, King Charles V built a second city wall. And this time, the Louvre fortress was located inside of the new city wall and lost its military function. It became a royal castle. Charles V turned the fortress into a castle, and all the kings of France, from the King Charles V in the 14th century to the King Louis XIV in the 17th century, live there, in the Louvre Palace. Each king of France had built a part of the Louvre Palace. So it's a very large building, 35,000 pieces of art, not only paintings but also sculpture and furniture. If you want to visit all the Louvre Museum, you need 15 days. It's here that you can see the painting of Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci. It's here that you have also a Greek sculpture like the Venus of Milo or the Victory of Samothrace, dating from the Hellenistic period, 2nd century BC. Here, the part of the Louvre built by the Queen Catherine of Medici after the death of her husband, Henry II. Here you have the part of the Louvre built by the King Louis XIV in 1682, just before his departure to Versailles. It's built in a classical style, the style of Louis XIV. And here on the left, the Church of the Kings of France, Saint-Germain d'Auxerrois, Royal Chapel of the Kings of France. Along the Seine River, you will see green boxes. It's booksellers. There are 216 booksellers like that in Paris. It's called the Bouquinist. Here you can buy second-hand books, postcards. And it was created in the 16th century. And it's listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Bouquinist. It's a part of the history of Paris. It's a very picturesque. On the left side you have La Samaritaine. A part is a department store, another part is a 5-star luxury hotel. And then you have the Pont Neuf, it's the oldest bridge of Paris. It's dating from the early 17th century and it was built by the French King Henry IV. And in the middle of the bridge, you will see a statue representing the King Henry IV on horseback. On the right side, you can see the city island of Paris with the law court and la conciergerie, the building with towers. It was at the origin the first castle of the kings of France before the construction of the Louvre. And then when the King Charles V left the city island for going to the Louvre, it was turned into a prison. It's here that the Queen Marie Antoinette stayed during the French Revolution. On the left side, you have a column erected by Napoleon I.
C'est bien de tout faire d'un coup, parce qu'après ils ont leur temps libre et puis nous on est tranquille aussi. L'après-midi ça me vient moins bien. Les gens font leur...
The City Hall of Paris. There are 20 town halls in Paris and they all report to the City Hall. Each district of Paris, each arrondissement has its own town hall and they report to the City Hall. It's a large building. It was unfortunately destroyed during the revolution of La Commune in 1871 and rebuilt a few years later, exactly in the same style. It's a neo-Renaissance building, inspired of the Renaissance period. So the Hôtel de Ville here on the right side is celebrating the Olympic Games. You know that we will have the Olympic Games next summer. In July and August. And in front of you, maybe you will see a building different colors, green, red, yellow. It's the Beaubourg Center, a modern art museum. Tower, it was formerly a church, a large church destroyed during the revolution of La Commune in 1871, same period of the destruction of the City Hall of Paris. So now we are leaving the right bank, we are crossing the Seine River for going to the city island. On the right side, a nice view of the Conciergerie Palace. And on the left side, you have here the oldest hospital of Paris, the Hôtel Dieu. You will see also a nice flower market. Flower market of the city island of Paris. And in a few minutes, you will see Notre Dame, or cathedral. You know that 4 years ago, the cathedral was on fire, burning during more than 15 hours. So the roof was completely destroyed and the spire collapsed. So nowadays Notre Dame is under restoration. They restored the cathedral. It's an old building dating from the Middle Ages. It was built between 1163 and 1245. It's a transition between Romanesque and early Gothic style, and it's one of the first church in France to have flying buttresses. The flying buttress, a new element of the early Gothic style.
It's you.
Thank you.
On the left, the nice view over Notre Dame. It's impossible to visit the church because it's under restoration. So here you can see the west facade of the church. It's hard to see it with the restoration, and you can see the two towers. The west facade was not destroyed. City Island, it's the oldest part of Paris. It's here that Paris started more than 2,000 years ago. And the first inhabitants were the Parisi tribe. They gave their names to Paris. So here a nice view over the cathedral with the two towers.
I drive slow.
Yes, Momo tried to drive slowly to give you the opportunity of taking a picture. The south part of the church.
Yeah.
So now we are on the left bank of Paris. We are going to see the Latin Quarter. Latin Quarter because they spoke Latin there in the Middle Ages. It was the area of students in the Middle Ages. It's here that was created the first university, the Sorbonne University. Here you can see the back of the Saint-Séverin Church, a nice Gothic flamboyant church. You can see the gargoyles of the church dating from the 15th century. So we are going to the top of a little hill. The name of the hill is Saint Geneviève. Geneviève is the patron saint of Paris. And in a few minutes on the right side you will see a part of the Sorbonne University building. In fact you have different buildings for the Sorbonne University. It was the oldest university of Paris, created in the Middle Ages, but the building, of course, was rebuilt later on. On the left, you have Louis le Grand high school, the best high school of Paris. will see another very famous monument of Paris. The name is the Panthéon. You will discover here on the left. It was at the origin a church built by the King Louis XV in the 18th century, and then it was turned into a Panthéon. It means a burial place for famous people. It's built like a Greek cross. In the center of the cross you have a huge cupola. So it's a burial place for famous writers, for example Voltaire. You have also Victor Hugo, who are buried there. And also famous, yes, there is a wedding. You see the bride. The bride is coming. So we are turning around the Panthéon. You have also famous people like resistance, like of the Second World War, like Jean Moulin, for example. And Josephine Baker.
Oh, Josephine Baker.
The American Josephine Baker, dancer, famous dancer, is buried here in the Panthéon.
Wow.
She was a secret agent during World War II. And she wrote a very nice song, I Have Two Love, My Country and Paris. I'm sure you know this song. And she's the only American woman buried there in the Panthéon. Here on the right side, a nice church, Saint-Étienne-du-Mont Church. Did you see the Woody Allen film, Midnight in Paris? It was the church of the film. So now we are driving along the Sainte-Geneviève Library. For the students of the Latin Quarter, you can see the long line of students at the entrance of the library. And here, there's a part of the Sorbonne University. So here, it's a part of the Sorbonne University, and on the other side, the same architecture is the town hall of the 5th district of Paris. It's here that you have a wedding. And now we are going down the little hill, Sainte-Geneviève's hill. We are in the Rue Soufflot. Soufflot is the name of the architect who built the Panthéon during the time of King Louis XV in the 18th century. So in this part of Paris, you will see many bookstores and publishing houses, because we are in the area of universities and high school. Just in front of you, you have a large garden. The name of the garden is Jardin des Tuileries, Tuileries Garden. Inside of the Tuileries Garden, you have a nice palace built by the Queen Mary of Medici after the death of her husband, Henry IV, sorry. And the palace, it's turned into the Senate. It's a seat of the Senate. It's here that you have the senators.
Donc on en aura fait pas mal. Hein, c'est bien. Non, ça va, je t'assure. Là, pour l'instant, on ne souffre pas trop de la chaleur, on est bien.
This garden is very appreciated by the students because it's close to the Sorbonne University and High School, and also for the children during the weekend because you have a Muppet show, you have donkey horses, a merry-go-round. Here the back of the Medici fountain, a nice fountain built by the Queen Mary of Medici. She was Italian from the Medici family. The back of the Odeon Theatre, just in front of you. It's a national theatre. The building is dating from the 18th century. So here you have the entrance of the Senate.
C'est pas vrai, il faut des travaux de partout.
On a gaspillé beaucoup d'argent, ça.
So on the left here, you have a museum. You will see it on the left, the Luxembourg Museum, here. And you have an exhibition dedicated to Gertrude Stein. You know that Ernest Hemingway stayed a long time in Paris, 1 year in Paris after World War I. And he made Gertrude Stein.
Et là, ma copine,
La copine.
elle est toujours là.
Ah, d'accord, j'ai cru Catherine Deneuve.
You will see a church, Saint-Sulpice Church. Did you read the book of Dan Brown, Da Vinci Code? Oui, so it's the church of the Da Vinci Code. Here. A nice church dating from the 18th century. And you know Catherine Deneuve? She's living there, the French actress, Catherine Deneuve. She's living in the building on the left, at the top of the building. So just have a look to the nice architecture of the buildings. For example, this one dating from the 18th century. Left side, you will see a nice Hermes store here on the left. Yes, on the left. Hermes designed a special bag for Grace Kelly, the Kelly bag. And in front of you, you have a little garden. Behind the garden, you have a large department store. The luxury department store. The name is Bon Marché. Department store, Le Bon Marché. Very nice luxury department store. It was created in the 19th century. Old building. District of Paris. Paris, there are many embassies and ministries. For example, the first minister is living in this part of Paris. On the left side, you have a larger church dating from the 19th century. The name of the church is the Saint-François Xavier. We arrive now to a very famous building of Paris, the Invalides Church. Here you have, it's like a burial place for soldiers. It's here that you have the tomb of Napoleon I. He died in 1821 in Santa Elena, and his body came back 19 years after his death. We will stop, and it will be a nice place to take a picture from the bus. So the cupola was made by a very, very famous architect from the time of Louis XIV. The name is Jules Hardouin-Mansart. Is a man who designed the cupola, the golden cupola. It's gold leaves.
One stop just for you.
Okay, thank you.
One picture.
Can you take a picture from here? Yes? Oui.
C'est bon.
C'est bon.
C'est bon, c'est bon. Oui.
Finish.
Finish.
Thank you.
Merci.
De rien. De rien, monsieur.
So classical building, the style of King Louis XIV. So you have the tomb of Napoleon I, but you have the tomb of his son, the King of Rome, who died at the age of 21 years old. And you have the tomb of the oldest brother of Napoleon I, Joseph, and his younger brother, who was the younger brother who was Jérôme Bonaparte. Just have a look also to the nice architecture of the buildings. It's always interesting to have a look to the buildings when you are visiting Paris, to see the nice architecture. As a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. So for your free time, for your lunch, if you want to buy a French baguette. You prefer a croissant? So now you will see the military academy. It's École Militaire, and it was built by a lady, Madame de Pompadour. She was a mistress of the King Louis XV. So here you have the military academy.
One small stop.
It's built in the classical style of the King Louis XV. Madame de Pompadour, Mrs. of Pompadour, she built the military academy to give opportunity to the poor gentlemen to become militants. It was occupied by the German army, of course, during the World War II. And Paris was liberated on 25 of August 1944. You have the UNESCO monument on the left side, where you can see the different flags. Inside of the UNESCO, you have it's the UNESCO headquarters. Inside of the UNESCO headquarters, you have different sculptures, paintings realized by famous artists, like for example, like Picasso. Suffren Avenue.
I know.
And here, on the left side, you have the Switzerland Village. It's a place where you have antique dealers, antique stores. It was during the World Fair exhibition of 1900. It was a place where you had a little Switzerland Village.
Il sait pas faire du vélo en fait.
T'as vu, ouais, rien dit tout, t'as vu.
Il a pris le vélo, alors il loue un vélo alors qu'il sait pas.
Of Paris, you have the 7th district on the right side and the 15th district on your left.
Darling, gluten-free.
That's what I need. I didn't see it though. You see it? No. It's when you're looking at the window from this close on this side, it's glare.
So in a few minutes we will park the bus for your free time. So we have a very large visit of Paris because there was no traffic. You are lucky because sometimes the traffic jams is very important.
Yeah, la place.
On se met là.
Ouais, non.
D'accord.
Ta copine, elle est là-bas,
Elle est là-bas, ma copine. Alors par contre, pour qu'il retire.